using someone else for her dirty work. She cannot advocate for herself because she knows that she's being dishonest. I want you guys to look at this. Once again, Gypsy is trying to use someone. Bree has already stated that she had mental health concerns, and she's going to open her up to the worldwide internet for people to eat her up for advocating for someone that is being dishonest. She is literally setting Bree up, knowing she has mental health concerns, to be eaten up by the internet. If this doesn't show you, again, just like she used Nick, she's using Bree. This is classic, what she's doing. And Bree really doesn't even realize what's really going on. She's advocating for someone that's being dishonest and using her.
Gypsy-Rose Blanchard and her best friend Bree find themselves at the center of a storm of backlash, with many accusing them of facing the consequences of their own actions. For years, they have positioned themselves as victims of relentless online harassment, claiming that content creators targeted them unfairly.
Who is desperately trying to find out who I am so they can dox me online. Good luck with that. Get your voodoo spells out, love. I couldn't find myself out of a paper bag.
However, as more details have surfaced, their narrative of victimization appears to be unraveling. I so wonder, can you talk a little bit about, that you started off, critics argue that the duo's portrayal as victims has been a cover for their own history of bullying and manipulation, and the public is now holding them accountable. Bree has been Gypsy's most vocal defender, frequently taking to social media to counter criticisms against her friend.
Gypsy-Rose Blanchard was never abused by her mother. As a matter of fact, for most of her life, she was in on the con. All Gypsy is a lying, manipulative, attention-seeking grifter. That's the narrative that all of you believe, right? Well, I'm here to tell you that it's a bunch of bullshit.
She has often labeled those questioning Gypsy's story as haters and accused them of spreading lies. However, Bree's approach has frequently gone far beyond simple disagreements, with her actions escalating into threats and intimidation. One particularly controversial incident involved a content creator known as Pink Pony Clap, who organized a peaceful vigil for Dee Blanchard outside Gypsy's book signing event at the Garden District Bookshop in New Orleans. Although the vigil was meant to be a respectful and non-confrontational gathering to honor Dee Dee's memory, Bree reacted aggressively. In a live stream before the event, she issued warnings to the protesters, suggesting they should be quiet. One of the things she said at the video's verdict involved, quote, and hinting that her friend Roji, allegedly armed, would be present to protect Gypsy.
Ma'am, I don't want anything to happen to you. Please don't do anything that's going to force them to do something.
Force who?
I have no idea, ma'am. I've seen a million of these things and they don't turn out good.
Oh, I totally understand.
I don't want you harmed at all.
Oh, I don't either. There's already been threats made to me, and the police are already aware of who's made those threats and who they've communicated them to. I have a report in my bag. I'm just here to cover it as a live stream for people to see what's going on. Yeah, that's Rogi. Y'all said get a ruby wig and come back. Gentlemen.
Hey, how are you? Good.
Get into it, yeah. Get into it, yeah.
When the day of the book signing arrived, Bree's behavior outside the venue further heightened tensions. Witnesses described her as patrolling the area in a confrontational manner, creating an atmosphere of intimidation. Many attendees, who had come to pay their respects to Dee Dee, reported feeling uneasy due to Bree's presence and her earlier threatening statements. Despite multiple reports made to the New Orleans police about her conduct, no action was taken against Bree. Instead, the peaceful protesters were removed from the premises. A decision that sparked outrage. Many viewed this as a blatant injustice and accused authorities of enabling Bree's bullying tactics. Following the incident, TikTok users began reporting Bree's threatening videos and live streams. The platform eventually banned her primary account, which had over 520,000 followers, a move widely seen as validation of the concerns raised about her behavior. Rather than reflect on her actions, Bree took to her alternate account to claim she was being unfairly targeted. She accused others of orchestrating mass reporting campaigns against her and portrayed herself as a victim of cyberbullying. Bree also lamented being fat-shamed after her appearance at the book signing was criticized online. However, these complaints found little sympathy, as many pointed out her own history of body shaming others. One of the most notable examples of Bree's aggressive behavior was her ongoing feud with Nina, a content creator who has dedicated her platform to uncovering inconsistencies in Gypsy's story. Bree repeatedly targeted Nina with racially charged remarks and relentless personal attacks, illustrating the lengths she was willing to go to challenge Gypsy's narrative. This pattern of bullying behavior has further fueled the public's criticism of Bree and Gypsy, leading to a significant shift in how they are perceived.
So a lot of people think that I was originally the person that started stuff with Bree. And I want to make it very clear that that's not the case. Now, I know who is committed to misunderstanding or committed to making me the villain or Mrs. Duplicity. I'm going to be that to you anyway. But I just want to show you guys the journey so this all makes some sense to you guys. Now, Bree's account has been banned multiple times, but it's always been for bullying. So I'm not sure if she'll get this account back, only because it's been harassment and bullying and stuff like that. I also submitted some of the stuff that I have filing with police reports and stuff like that to TikTok. And I know other people have done their thing. So I think that might be part of it too. But I want to show you guys the history between Bree and I. Now, initially, I always spoke on Gypsy. I never spoke on Bree. Bree would make a lot of posts about me. And I let them slide because she's Gypsy's friend. I felt like she was just trying to defend her friend. And, you know, it's like, whatever, if that's your girl, I kind of get it, right? Well, it wasn't until she kept having my pictures in the backgrounds of her lives talking smack that I was like, this girl's really crazy. And, you know, I still was like, okay, whatever. She's just defending Gypsy. Gypsy's her friend. She's going to stand by her friend. And I get it because I stand by my friends now. I'm not going to stand behind someone that I'm like, hey, mama, but whatever. May 14th, as you can see here, is the day that I made this video, Justice for Nick. And I was basically speaking on how I felt. You guys will see that video later on in this video. I just want you guys to keep these dates in mind. This is May 14th. This is May 14th as well. I did a wig review on my page. Bree put it on her page. You see where all of these videos where she has been making about me on her page. And I let it go for months, okay? She had been doing this, hosting lives for months. At this point, I had never said anything addressing her. I always made it clear in terms of like the Justice for Nick, you'll see later, where I was like, she's using this girl and I think it's unfair.
Once seen by many as victims of unfair treatment, Gypsy and Bree are now facing widespread condemnation. Critics argue that their manipulative and bullying actions undermine the narrative they've carefully constructed over the years. As more people come forward to share their experiences and evidence, the duo finds themselves increasingly isolated, with public opinion turning sharply against them. Many see this as a long overdue reckoning, a moment when accountability finally catches up with those who have long avoided it. Gypsy-Rose Blanchard and her best friend Bree have found themselves at the center of an intense wave of backlash as their actions and narratives face mounting scrutiny. For years, Bree has acted as Gypsy's loudest defender, taking to social media to silence critics and discredit those questioning Gypsy's version of events. However, her tactics have often escalated beyond mere disagreement, crossing into bullying, harassment, and even personal attacks. Bree's animosity toward Nina, a content creator who has consistently questioned Gypsy's story, is a prime example of her aggressive behavior. Bree frequently mocked Nina's appearance, using older and unflattering photos of her as backgrounds during live streams, turning them into visual tools of humiliation. The language Bree used in these attacks was often cruel, laced with racial undertones and offensive remarks that further escalated the animosity. Initially, Nina tried to rise above the provocations, understanding that Bree was acting as a surrogate voice for Gypsy. However, the harassment became impossible to ignore when Bree extended her actions beyond social media, actively interfering in Nina's personal life, including attempting to get her fired from her job. This level of interference marked a turning point. Recognizing the severity of the situation, Nina began to push back, publicly addressing the harassment and exposing Bree's methods. Bree's animosity didn't stop there. She even created a dedicated page titled "Nina is a Clown," which became a hub for further ridicule and harassment. These actions made it clear to many that Bree's behavior was less about defending Gypsy and more about silencing anyone who challenged their narrative. Over time, this pattern of bullying and targeting others has significantly damaged Bree's credibility.
Using someone else for her dirty work. She cannot advocate for herself because she knows that she's being dishonest. I want you guys to look at this. Once again, Gypsy is trying to use someone. Bree has already stated that she had mental health concerns, and she's going to open her up to the worldwide internet for people to eat her up for advocating for someone that is being dishonest. She is literally setting Bree up, knowing she has mental health concerns, to be eaten up by the internet. If this doesn't show you, again, just like she used Nick, she's using Bree. This is classic, what she's doing. And Bree really doesn't even realize what's really going on. She's advocating for someone that's being dishonest and using her,
leaving her increasingly isolated in her defense of Gypsy. While Bree has faced intense criticism, Gypsy herself has not been spared from public scrutiny. Her memoir, My Time to Stand, was intended to rehabilitate her image and present her as a victim of her mother's abuse. However, instead of inspiring readers, the book alienated many, even some of her most loyal supporters.
Gypsy-Rose's book is disturbing, to say the least. I'm going to show you guys one page of her book that literally had my jaw on the floor. Major trigger warning, and you guys will have to fill in the blanks for a lot of it because otherwise it'll get taken down.
Initially, when Gypsy was released from prison, she was met with widespread sympathy, with many believing she was an innocent victim of her mother's manipulations. But as more details of her case emerged, cracks in her story began to show, and her memoir only exacerbated these doubts. The book includes graphic and unsettling details about her mother's murder, which many readers found unnecessary and disturbing. Gypsy described conversations with her then-boyfriend Nick Godejan about potential methods to kill her mother, including arson, poisoning, and shooting. Most disturbingly, Gypsy included Nick's suggestion of sexual assault on Dee Dee's corpse.
About discussing what they were going to do to her mother. Burn up the house, knock over a candle, it will look like an accident. No, too many things can go wrong. When he suggests poisoning her, she says no, poison is too slow and too brutal. What about a GUN? Victor can her. So they had like alter ego nicknames for each other, and his was Victor. She said she looked into getting a gun, but she didn't have a state issued ID. This is where it starts to get crazy. He wanted to strangle her and feed her to the pigs. But this literally made me want to throw up. He wanted to load my mother's body into the Ford Windstar, assault her with and then afterwards demand and drop her body at the pig farm. Like, hello, you already unalived her. Now you're trying to make money off of a book with these disgusting details.
A horrifying detail that baffled readers and seemed gratuitous. Instead of delivering a story of resilience and redemption, Gypsy's memoir painted a chilling picture that turned many supporters away. Social media quickly filled with posts from disappointed readers, many of whom returned the book and publicly criticized its content. Adding to the backlash are the numerous contradictions in Gypsy's memoir. While she claims to have endured years of severe physical abuse at her mother's hands, Medical examinations conducted at the time of her arrest found no evidence of the kind of physical harm she described. This revelation has led to widespread skepticism, with critics accusing Gypsy of embellishing or fabricating parts of her story to gain sympathy. Even the widely publicized claims of medical abuse, which form the cornerstone of her narrative, have come under scrutiny. Although Dee did subject Gypsy to numerous unnecessary medical procedures, some experts have suggested that certain interventions might have been justified due to Gypsy's documented chromosomal disorder. This disorder could explain some of the symptoms Dee sought to treat, complicating the perception of Gypsy as a wholly innocent victim. As public opinion continues to shift, the once clear narrative of Gypsy as a victim of abuse has become more nuanced. Questions linger about her role in the events that led to her mother's murder, and whether she has taken full accountability for her actions. Bree's relentless defense of Gypsy has only added fuel to the fire, drawing attention to their shared patterns of manipulation and aggression. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Has Bree gone too far in defending Gypsy? And is Gypsy's story as straightforward as it once seemed? Gypsy-Rose Blanchard and her best friend Bree are no strangers to controversy, but the ongoing drama surrounding them seems to be reaching a boiling point. Once widely viewed as a victim of unimaginable abuse, Gypsy's narrative is now being questioned at every turn. Critics argue that the simplicity of her story has given way to a web of inconsistencies, leaving even her most loyal supporters with doubts. Over the years, Gypsy's story has evolved, with new and dramatic details surfacing seemingly out of nowhere. For example, in her memoir, My Time to Stand, she describes being tied up and treated like a dog, and claims that were never mentioned during her early interviews or court appearances. These inconsistencies raise questions about why such shocking allegations only appeared years later, leading many to believe that Gypsy might be rewriting her story to emphasize the most sensational aspects and maintain her image as a victim. This pattern of shifting narratives has undermined her credibility, leaving even her supporters unsure of what to believe. The fallout from Gypsy's book has been significant. While she once commanded an enormous following on social media, boasting over 10 million followers on TikTok, that number has steadily declined to 9.8 million, with more users unfollowing each day. For many, the graphic and unsettling content of her memoir was the final straw. No. Instead of offering an inspiring tale of resilience, the book shocked readers with unnecessary details, including disturbing conversations with her then-boyfriend Nick Godet about methods to murder her mother. The most troubling part, a suggestion from Nick involving sexual assault on Dee Dee's corpse, was inexplicably included, leaving readers appalled. These revelations, combined with the contradictions in her accounts, have led to accusations that Gypsy is exploiting her story for financial gain. Bree, Gypsy's staunchest defender, has only added fuel to the fire with her relentless bullying of anyone who dares to question Gypsy's narrative. Her aggressive tactics, particularly toward content creator Nina, have drawn widespread condemnation. Bree's harassment ranged from mocking Nina's appearance to creating a page specifically dedicated to ridiculing her. She even attempted to interfere in Nina's personal life by trying to get her fired from her job. And this level of obsession has painted Bree as a bully rather than a loyal friend, further eroding her credibility. Despite facing bans on social media platforms like TikTok for her threatening behavior, Bree continues to portray herself as a victim, claiming she is being unfairly targeted. However, the public is no longer buying it. Her unwavering support for Gypsy even in the face of mounting evidence contradicting Gypsy's claims, has left many questioning her motives. Bree's antics have not only damaged her own reputation, but also contributed to the growing skepticism surrounding Gypsy. The duo's attempts to regain public favor seem to be failing spectacularly. As more content creators and fans speak out against them, the trust they once enjoyed is rapidly fading. The question remains, can Gypsy and Bree recover from this fall from grace? Will Bree's remaining followers continue to support her despite her controversial actions? And most importantly, will Gypsy ever take full accountability for her role in her mother's murder and the subsequent manipulation of her narrative? Only time will tell if they can bounce back or if their reputations will continue to crumble under the weight of their actions. What do you think? Has Bree gone too far in defending Gypsy? Will Gypsy ever regain the public's trust? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more updates on this unfolding drama.